And we have Salman Qazi from Srinagar and Debyendu Model joining us from Delhi. Salman, my first question to you. Yesterday, a full bandh was declared in the city which was bustling till day before now has come literally to a standstill. How is the situation there right now?
I think yesterday's bandh was unprecedented. That is the first time that there has been a bandh called in response to a terror attack. So definitely this is kind of an new leaf in Kashmir's political history that in last 35 years there have been many incidents, but this is the first incident that has eventually been responded by a bandh by local people. So there were spontaneous protests on the day of the attack, and there were protests across all the towns, whether in Jammu, whether in Kashmir, and it was very unanimously and unequivocally condemned by the people, and they demanded justice. So definitely the bandh was called yesterday, and most of the trade bodies and most of the religious bodies and the political parties, they had supported this bandh.
All right, justice being demanded, of course. Debyendu, my next question to you. The CCS yesterday decided to take several steps on the diplomatic front. What are the key concerns and outcomes that the political parties are expected to address in today's all-party meet, especially in light of the Pahalgam attack?
Well, Nipakshi, yesterday till late evening, we saw the Cabinet Committee on Security chaired by Prime Minister held a meeting at the Prime Minister's residence in New Delhi. And after the CCS meeting concluded, there were about 20 minutes of which Home Minister Amit Shah and Prime Minister Narendra Modi did speak just one-on-one. So, of course, and after that, we saw the briefing by the Ministry of External Affairs, where Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri did brief the media about the steps that have been taken by the CCS, and one of the key steps that has been taken is to keep the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance. This will, of course, cripple Pakistan in terms of the water sharing that had been agreed in the 1960s, and the Indus River forms a lifeline for Pakistan, and cutting waters to Pakistan will cripple Pakistan economically as well as politically. But having said this, today's meeting of all party that has been convened by the government is to apprise all the political parties about the steps that the government has been taking to curb terrorism in the valley of Jammu and Kashmir, and not just in Jammu and Kashmir but across the country, and also what are the steps that has been taken by the government. This is a healthy democratic practice where the government briefs all the political parties that are present in the parliament. The meeting is expected to convene at about 6 p.m. this evening at the Parliament Annex C, where the invites for the all-party meeting has already gone out from the government side. All the parties that are represented with their parliamentarians in the parliament have been invited for this all-party meeting. It will be chaired by Rajnath Singh, the defense minister, and both the Home Minister, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah, as well as the Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will be briefing all the political parties about the steps that the government has taken, and it will also feature the steps or the meetings that Union Home Minister Amit Shah, who was in Srinagar as well as in Pahalgam, what are the meetings that he had with the security officials. It will be briefed to all the parties of the parliament at the all-party meeting. In fact, Foreign Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar will brief the political parties of India as to what steps diplomatically the government has been taking to cripple Pakistan as well as to punish Pakistan, who has been at the forefront of perpetrating or waging war against India through terrorism over the years. And it is, of course, a healthy democratic practice where such protocols are followed, and the government also wants to show that the country is united irrespective of their political ideologies.
Absolutely. All right. Salman, I wanted to know also, how are the initial investigations going on out there? Any update on that?
The security agencies have basically shared some of the sketch that of the attackers in this case they are sharing, and obviously there are also a few names which have not been officially released, and which kind of try to identify who these terrorists were. So I'm sure that the investigations will pick up, and they will be revealing the names. I'm sure that they might be even at some advanced stage where they have some very concrete leads, but those leads have not been yet shared with the media as of now. So definitely, what we have is that our sketch. There have been Anantnag police has announced a reward for anybody who leads to which leads to the information about these perpetrators. So these are some of the leads that have been generated by the local security agencies.
All right. Salman, also, what's the latest on the tourist front? Many special flights had been flown yesterday to fly them back.
Yeah, definitely. There were 7 additional flights that were flown back yesterday. Most of these flights were due to the rescheduling request by the tourists who wanted that. Some of them who might have stayed for a few days, they wanted to go back as soon as possible. So those flights were those 7 additional flights, and in total 53 flights were arranged yesterday. So in addition, I'm sure that even today there will be a lot of additional flights that will be flown, and because when our reporters went out and they talked to the tourists, most of them were quite shocked and had a very traumatic experience, and they kind of wanted to return to the home as soon as possible.
All right. Debendu, how do the party leaders plan to respond to the growing security concerns in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly following the recent attack, and how are the opposition leaders expected to react?
Well, Lipakshi, we have seen that there has been much coordinated response from the opposition side when it comes to such an issue of national security. And of course, the message from the government is very clear that at such a time we stand as a united country, irrespective of our political ideologies. And we have seen the Congress's leader of the House as well as the President Mallikarjun Kharge did speak to Union Home Minister Amit Shah and extended his support of whatever is needed from the opposition side. Even leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, Rahul Gandhi, who currently was in a tour to the United States, did come back, cutting short his trip to attend this all-party meeting. And of course, even LOP Rahul Gandhi did speak to Union Home Minister Amit Shah over a telephonic call, and did extend his support and the support of the Congress party as well as the opposition as to whatever steps that the government takes. So therefore, we see that the oppositions in this particular issue of national security stands united with the government, and they have extended their support to the government to whatever actions or measures that the government takes in order to curb terrorism as well as to secure the borders, integrity and sovereignty of India. The opposition will stand united, and therefore today's all-party meeting will also give us an understanding as to how the opposition parties and the government together can work for national security and protecting the integrity and sovereignty of India, and how to weed out terrorism from India, as well as give a strong response to our neighbor Pakistan, who has been trying to wage this proxy war against the state, against India, befitting reply, and it will perhaps come out as a very, very strong message against Pakistan that when it comes to national security, the country is united, and irrespective of all the political parties' ideological differences, when it comes to national security, the country stands united. And therefore, all eyes will of course be at 6 p.m. when this all-party meeting convenes later in the evening, which will of course, as I said earlier, will be chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, and parties will be briefed by Union Home Minister Amit Shah on whatever security arrangements, measures that have been taken in place, and the investigations, and an update on the investigation that are currently going on in the state of Jammu and Kashmir to all the political parties that are represented in the parliament. And on the external affairs front, Dr. S. Jaishankar will be briefing all the political parties about what diplomatic steps that the government has taken after the CCS was concluded last evening. Lipakshi.
All right, Debindu, thank you so much for all those details. Salman, yesterday there were a lot of candlelight marches in the city and nearby areas. How are the locals reacting right now?
As I have said already, the locals have unequivocally they have condemned this attack. They have been demanding justice. They have been saying that this attack does not represent what they think should have happened. And definitely there has been as I told you, that this is a very unprecedented kind of an thing, that is full day strike ban, and it was not enforced by anybody. So it was a spontaneous ban, which was supported by most of the people, most of the trade bodies, most of the trade bodies, and also the political parties.
All right, Salman, thank you so much for all those details. And now we have Vishal Baristo joining us from Srinagar, and we have Akshay Dongre also from Delhi. Well, Vishal, you are in Srinagar right now. Give us a sense of what's the situation like in the valley right now.
Well, a very good morning to you, Lipakshi. I am here at the Dal Lake, and I would ask my cameraman to show you how Dal Lake looks quiet. And this is the place which used to be buzzing with the tourists, because this is tourist season. But because of the terror attack in Pahalgam, not many tourists are seen here. There you see the houseboats, they are all vacant. Most of the tourists, they want to return to their respective places. They are waiting because some had their flights from Jammu, some had their trains from Jammu. So there is a sense of urgency as far as tourists are concerned. But today the Chief Minister Umar Abdullah has called for an all-party meeting at 3 p.m. and he has also announced reward ex gratia for all those who died of 10 lakhs and also seriously injured 2 lakhs and injured 1 lakh. So this is the situation right now. Meanwhile, in the Anantnag Baramulla, I beg your pardon, operation, which is also known as Operation Tikka, in defense forces and police have recovered 2 AK-47 rifles, 5 magazines, 1 pistol and warlike stores. But that the identity of the terrorists are still to be ascertained, because there was an encounter between the armed forces and the infiltrators in the Baramulla sector, Uri to be very precise. So this is the situation here, though the people of Srinagar, they have showed their solidarity, and it is all across Jammu and Kashmir. There was a complete ban, strike down, no business activity was done yesterday. But today, the people of Srinagar especially, they are telling the world and also to the terrorists that we are not to be cowed down by any terror activity. We stand united and we will work for the unity of the country and also for the communal harmony across the state. Lipakshi?
All right, Vishal. Akshay, India has announced a series of strong diplomatic measures against Pakistan yesterday. As we know, India has pulled the plug on Indus Water Treaty also. What will it mean and how will it impact Pakistan?
Well, Lipakshi, to understand the relevance of Indus Water Treaty and its significance for Pakistan, we must understand that how important it is for the country. First of all, about 90% of water requirement for agriculture and other needs is fulfilled by the Indus Water and its tributaries as far as Pakistan is concerned, and clearly that's the reason why it seems that Islamabad is quite rattled with the strong decision that has been taken by the Indian government. The second thing about the closure of Atari border, that also hints at the strong response that is being given by India, and the Atari Wagah border that has been considered as a beacon of hope that the situation will normalize and the relations will improve. The plug has been pulled from that aspect as well, as far as the Indian government is concerned, and clearly for good reasons, that you cannot have good relations with a country that is trying to kill your civilians, that is trying to sponsor terrorism and infiltrate hardened, trained religious fundamentalist terrorists into your country. So that is a strong response that is being taken by the government. But as far as Indus Water Treaty is concerned, the treaty which was formalized by the World Bank in 19 360, it is quite relevant and for Pakistanis especially, because Indus Water is Indus River is the river which, along with its tributaries, is the main lifeline of Pakistan, and if India pulls the plug on that, that becomes a great situation for the country that has been constantly sponsoring terror into India, not only India but into all of its neighbors. And now, finally, the Indian government has strongly reacted in a language that Pakistan understands.
All right. Vishal, I wanted to ask, security across the Kashmir Valley has, of course, increased a manifold now. Tell us about the joint combing operation by the Army, the CRPF and the J&K police in the region.
Well, absolutely, because of this terror act, security has been beefed up, and yesterday there was a high-level meeting, and the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir has given clear instructions to the DG of CRPF and DG of Jammu and Kashmir Police to go all out and ensuring the security of the people, and also go all out as far as the combing operation is concerned, because though the sketches have been released, but still they are yet to find the attackers and the killers. So the security agencies, which also includes military intelligence, are working in tandem, and I'm talking about not only the paramilitary forces, which is the Central Reserve Police Force, but the BSF, the Border Security Force, our first line of defense, have also been put on high alert because the infiltration attempts are still on. Yesterday there were 2 infiltration attempts, one in the Baramulla and other one in Kulgam. So the state-sponsored terrorism by Pakistan continues despite all action taken by India. Defense Minister has made it very clear that India would give a befitting reply because India is looking for a revenge. It would not allow this kind of situation to continue. The Home Minister made it very clear that India will not bend to any kind of terror activity, and India is going all out to tell the world how Pakistan continues to sponsor and continues to encourage state-sponsored terrorism against the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Lipakshi?
All right. Akshay, also how, as you also mentioned, how will the closure of the Wagah-Atari route and the cancellation of the Pakistani SAARC visas affect the trade and other bilateral relations?
Well, the kind of incidents that have happened, especially the state-sponsored terror attacks that have taken place, the kind of infiltration cross-border attacks that have taken place were all being responded to by India. But what has happened in Pahalgam is in fact a dangerous precedent as far as attacks are concerned against civilians. This is nothing short of an attack like 26/11. The only difference is that the terrorists this time could not find places to hide or continue with their attack. They also wanted this to be a terror attack in its real sense, because the way they have left-fed the women and children and have asked them to spread the word across the country that how attacks were done, and directly challenging the Indian government. Clearly, it could not have been done without the support, direct support of the Pakistani military, the Pakistani intelligence agencies like ISI, and the Pakistani government itself, because these kind of attacks cannot just take place. Ammunition, arms cannot just be delivered without the support of a much larger power.
Absolutely.
Clearly, the kind of statements that have been given by the Army Chief of Pakistan, General Munir, clearly it was a disaster waiting to happen when an Army Chief of a country talks about hatred based on religion, talks about attacks, talks about a war against their neighboring country. Then clearly these kind of incidents are going to radicalize the terrorists, and in fact it seems that the speech that was given earlier by General Munir of Pakistan was just a precedent of what was going to happen. So clearly Pakistan is quite deep as far as this attack is concerned, and that perhaps is the reason why India has finally closed or rather pulled the plug on this symbol of hope, a symbol of a normalization of ties. That was the Atari Wagah border, where people used to go every day. The BSF and the Pakistani Rangers that were guarding the border used to meet and greet on occasions. So clearly all of that has been closed because optics cannot continue. If one of your neighbor is trying to destabilize you, trying to attack you, trying to cause terror in your country, so that perhaps is the reason why the Indian government has taken such strong steps of asking the Pakistani nationals who are living in the country to return back to Pakistan within 48 hours, reducing the size of embassies, pulling the plug on Indus Water Treaty as well. So all of these are quite drastic steps, but these are not the only steps that the government are taking. The government is also contemplating taking further stronger actions as and when the course this entire investigation that's taking place continues. Back to you, Bhakti.
All right. Vishal, as we understand, special forces, sniffer dogs and other technical intelligence means have been deployed to track down the attackers. Any more information we have as of now?
Well, Pakshi, let me tell you that the security forces are working in tandem. NIA team is here, which is our premier investigation agency, and they are working overnight to find out how the infiltrators and attackers could be tracked down. The sketches have been released, and a reward of 20 lakhs has been announced by the Jammu and Kashmir police about any information about the attackers. So still the investigating agencies are trying to find out, but let me tell you that it's a long process, and it would require a lot of hard work by the investigating agencies. Though Jammu and Kashmir police along with military intelligence and NIA, they are all working in tandem. But as of now, there is no information about the 3 sketches that have been released by the Jammu and Kashmir police.
All right. Thank you so much, Vishal and Akshay, for all those details.